A couple minutes early because I want to share something with you. So please listen to this. I feel it's very important. You know, you hear me talking all the time about making other people happy. And I tell you, it'll come back to you. A little while ago, just about an hour ago, I was stopped for a light at the corner of Wilshire and San Vicente. And on the corner was a beautiful couple and the father. They were a black couple. And the father had the baby carriage and had a little baby in there. I couldn't see the baby. But, then the father leaned over and he had a big smile on his face, and I don't, maybe touch his child on the cheek, all right? And then, he looked at the mother and they looked at each other and she leaned over and then they looked. You could tell how happy, how much they were in love. And you know what? They weren't thinking about Diddy, okay? They were thinking about that baby in there and the dreams that they have for what this child will become. But these people were in love. So when the light changed, they were crossing it in front of me. I give him a thumbs up. And he looked at me and he gave me a thumbs up. I rolled my window down. I said, sir, I said, I love it. Stay in love all your life. That's the best thing you could do. And he looked at me, he said, sir, thank you so much. And folks, that made me very happy. And I wanted to share that good news with all you here, and I thank you for coming. Lisa Peter, thank you for the thanks. All right, Lisa Peters, first one here today with $2. God bless you, Lisa. Thank you. Folks, please, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and share. Okay, all those things are very important, and they help me tremendously. Okay, and don't be afraid to hit that thanks button. All right, I got a goal today of having 10 people hit the thanks button. So let's see if we can get there. Okay, so let's begin, folks. You've heard other people saying that Diddy is complaining about maggots in his food. And as soon as I heard that, I said, they're lying. And I'm thinking to myself, because I spent 30 months in MDC Brooklyn. And I'm going to tell you what, yeah, maybe a few things have changed, but it hasn't changed that much, okay? It's not a country club. And Diddy better get into his mind. He's not going to be in a country club. He's in prison. And that's what it is, okay? So the first thing I did is I called 2 of my co-defendants. If you know, I was indicted on a Colombo crime family indictment, okay? And in my book, at the back of my book, you will see all my paperwork, you'll see my indictment, and you will know who my co-defendants were. In addition, okay, I texted a prison guard at MDC, okay? She just recently retired, all right? But she was there for over 20 years. My first question to her there was, have you ever heard of maggots in the food at MDC? The very first thing she replied was lies. Those carts are locked in huge refrigerators. Folks, I've seen them. They're as big as this wall, okay? They're huge, okay? The food's cooked and prepared days before, and it's stored in the refrigerators, okay? She and other guards eat in that very same kitchen. They're not going to eat food with maggots in it. Now, I tore this up, but now I got to piece it together here for you. Okay? Let's see what I got here. Okay? I got to read this to you. Because we all hear of maggots, but do we really know what maggots are? Okay? So let me read it to you. I do my research. Okay? I don't just shoot from the hip. Maggots in food are not common in well-managed food preparation settings, but they can occur in certain situations, especially with spoiled or decaying food. Now, they don't have spoiled or decaying food. It might not be the best food in the world, but it's not spoiled or decayed. All right? Maggots are fly larvae. They are immature forms of flies, and they develop from eggs laid by adult flies. Ideal breeding grounds, flies are attracted to decaying organic matter, such as rotting food, where they lay their eggs. Well, you don't hear about anybody saying they're eating rotting food there, all right? The larva can hatch within 24 hours. Now, the FDA has legal limits. The FDA allows some insects, including maggots, in certain foods, like drained mushroom. Eating maggots, while it's not ideal, accidentally eating maggots is unlikely to cause serious harm, though it could potentially lead to bacterial contamination if the food was already spoiled. So Diddy and your lawyers, get it right when you want to complain. Now, does Diddy think he's the only inmate in MDC Brooklyn or any MDC throughout the country? That's what he's acting like. Well, get over it, Diddy. Nancy Flowers, thank you for that $1.99. Let's keep it rocking, folks. I appreciate that. Okay? Folks, the Metropolitan Detention Center, and once again, I was there. Okay? In Brooklyn, New York. It houses approximately 12 to 1,800 inmates. Well, I don't know when it's ever had 1,200. When I was there, it was 1,700. It's normally around 1,800 inmates. It's a detention center, okay? It was originally set up, that you would be there like for 7 months, to get your trial, go to hearings and all that there. But because the courts are so delayed, that's not happening, okay? I was there 30 months. 30 months. Folks, I never got sick from the food. Now, I hope Diddy, I understand they got computers now. Now, I was there when they first brought in computers, and believe it or not, I was one of the guys that they had go in the library when they had a computer guy come in to train us how to use them. Now, the original intent, they put 3 computers in every unit. So you had a limited amount of time that you go on. We were not allowed to email and all that, but we were allowed to go into, that's how we started. They stopped us from going to, they closed the law library, and they had all the law library on the computers. That's how it initially began. Exactly what they could, I hear Diddy's got his own computer. So Diddy, I hope you're watching me. I don't give a shit if you don't like me, okay? It makes no difference to me, okay? Now, let's talk about his lawyers. They're all over. They're on YouTube. One of them was on Megyn Kelly. You know who's on Megyn Kelly? Mark Garagos. Now, yes, Mark Garagos is not on record as his attorney for this criminal case. Okay? Mark Garagos is not a good lawyer, but he's a spokesman because he gets publicity. Susan Jill, God bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay? Now, he was on Megan Kelly. And he wants to go in how the Inhumane Act was originated. He wants to leave out the fact that Diddy is a violent person. And I read this before to you folks, okay? I'm going to read it again. If a defendant is deemed a significant flight risk or a danger to the community, bail can be denied, leading to pre-trial detention. Okay? While a Mann Act conviction doesn't automatically prevent bail, a history of violent behavior can significantly influence a judge's decision regarding pre-trial release. Judges prioritize community safety and will carefully assess the risk of a defendant with which a history poses if released, potentially leading to a bail denial. There you go. Leela, thank you so much. I love you people. God bless you. Thank you so much, folks. All right? Hit that thanks button. Keep doing that, folks, and you'll keep me here longer. Okay? So, folks, that's what it is. And that's exactly what the judge did. Now you got all his lawyers. You got 10 of them. And they're all on the network TV. They're on doing podcasts and all this here. All right? I don't know about cheap mills, Kirk. I had to check that out, but thank you. Diddy's not a good guy. I did read about this morning, or listen. All right, there was a rapper that was signed to Bad Boys. He died. He was out of originally from New York, I believe, but he died in Atlanta, Georgia. And Diddy called him and didn't help him. He had a legal problem. Diddy didn't help him with his any money at all. Okay, Diddy didn't do a damn thing. And folks, I talked to you about those folks that I met this morning. And I said they're not thinking about Diddy. And I talked to you about how respectful they were. So when you see these people coming in and that are disrespectful, remember something. Don't let it bother you. I don't. You know why? See, it's those people like, Matthew Nickerson. He will never experience that kind of happiness that couple and baby that I saw this morning had. No, he never will. All right? He's a tough guy. Okay, he wants to come in here and harass, probably a bot. Okay, Erie, Pennsylvania, is that? All right? There's so much with Diddy. And his lawyers, look, if his lawyer's really good, and if they're taking these orders from Diddy, and then doing what Diddy tells them to do, any good lawyer, any reputable lawyer would stop representing that client. Lawyers, good lawyers, go by the law and how the law is designed, and that's what they use to win a case. Diddy's trying to win it with the American people. And the American people don't like Diddy. And that's a fact. Frank Collada. Are you a relation to Frank? I knew Frank before he died. All right? Selena from the UK, how are you? We got some things going on in the UK. Maybe you'll hear about it very shortly. My friend Joey Pyle putting something together, okay, with somebody out of Sicily, big name out of Sicily, with the Sicilian mob. And you're going to be hearing about that soon, okay? Joey Pyle will be announcing that out of England. So, folks, there's so many things, good things that are happening in this world. And you got questions, folks, put them in the chat you want me to answer, okay? And I'll answer them, okay? But, you know, Diddy, let's go back to his lawyers. They're milking him so good, it's unbelievable. I heard they got over $30 million so far. $30 million divided 10 ways is 10 lawyers. If they divide it equally, that's $3 million each. And every day that they're on the case, every day they're getting paid by Diddy. Diddy, save your money. All right? I hope you get these messages. You know, all you guys that come out here with all this bullshit, okay? How vicious was Tony Spilotro? I met Tony one time. Was he vicious with me? No, he wasn't. Okay? Could I get vicious? Yes, I could. Can you get vicious? I bet you can. That was beautiful. Oh my God. You cracked me up. All right, somebody just said they feel sorry for Diddy because he can't afford his baby oil no more. I just thought that was hilarious, folks. All right? No, I didn't know Whitey Bulger. All right? Ireland. Ireland, boy, it's beautiful country over there. Beautiful woman come from Ireland. You know that? It's just me thinking that anyway. Hey, you know, I like women. Can't help myself. Okay? But, you know, talking about his lawyer and that Mark Garrigle. Mark, I hope you get the message. Call me, Mark. Let's talk about it. All right? You want to sue me too? Go ahead. Sue me. Stand in line. I don't give a shit. Mark Garrigle is nothing more than a spokesman. He knows how to get publicity. You got to give him credit there, okay? And him and Harry, and if you notice, Harry Levin's TMZ, their numbers are dwindling. Susan Jill with $4.99. God bless you, Susan Jill. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Folks, you know, I was supposed to do this earlier. I was all prepared, and I didn't know how to open the goddamn app myself this morning, okay? So I couldn't do it, and I didn't know nothing. And so I had to get in the car and drive over to my son. And I think we got it fixed now because I'm here, and I'm happy because you folks make me happy, okay? I love doing this here. I love coming here, giving you folks good advice. And you know, pretty soon, another thing I want to say. Diddy's lawyers are going out there and they're trying to get Trump to pardon him. Now you could bet your boots they're offering Trump a lot of money. It's not Trump that they're talking to. They're talking to some of the people around him, okay? But Trump basically has already said no. And will he stick to that? Well, if his lawyers had half a brain, okay, they know that the new sheriff in town is Jay Clayton, who Donald Trump put there. He's in charge of the Southern District. And if you saw his response to the judge, he's asking the judge to go above the sentencing guidelines to give Diddy more time. Nancy Lyon, great. Brian, welcome to Brian. Thank you, Nancy Lyon. I appreciate it. Folks, any gifts you can give me, anything at all, $1, $10, 20, 50, whatever you could afford, trust me, every penny of it is appreciated. And I give you all my love and respect. Thank you very much. Jeffrey, your Brits love me. I'm very well known in over there in England. I love England. Some of the best people in the world. And I'm going to tell you, my friends over there, okay, the mafia can't shine their shoes, okay? That's how good and much respect that I have for my friends in London, okay? You won't hear that often, but it came right from me, okay? They were the ones that were there for me when I got out of prison, not my friends, okay? Folks, hit that subscribe button if you didn't, please, okay? Let's get the subscribers up here, all right? And the likes. I don't know why people can't hit that likes. You know, when I go into a YouTube room, I hit the like, okay? You know why I hit the like? Because I feel that's the respectful thing to do, because that person took the time to put whatever they are saying together and share it with their audience. So if you're respectful, you will hit that like button, okay? On my shorts, on my videos, and other things. So, or and I'm not going to dance for you, okay? I don't understand why Diddy is still retaining these lawyers. The smartest move he could make right now is to fire every single one of his lawyers, including Mark Garagos. Hire new lawyers that are good and are not going to rip you off, because you need them for the appeal. And then on your appeal, Mr. Diddy, P. Diddy, the P stands for Punk Diddy. Remember, I was the first one to call him a punk. I stand by that there, okay? Now you fire your lawyers, you hire new lawyers, and in your appeal, you might have a good shot at an appeal because you had incompetent lawyers. They went out of the courtroom, all right, because they won the RICO charge, okay? They should have ran over and kissed Maureen Comey's ass, because it was Maureen Comey who won it for them, okay? All they had to do was show up in court. Oh, we got somebody tough there calling John Gotti a punk. All right? Killer Bro. See, there's another guy, will never be happy. Killer Bro, you're very unhappy. You're very disrespectful. Get a life, my friend. Maybe get a job, okay? Or learn how to read, okay? Good thing. People don't read today, all right? But for those who you do read, don't forget my book, The Accidental Gangster, from insurance salesman to Hollywood fixer. Okay, don't forget, it's out there. It's available wherever fine books are sold. All right? Look at, I knew John Gotti. Trust me, John was nobody's punk. Okay? Nobody's punk. So cut the shit. All right? Susan, you can't stand Mark Garagos either. His daughter is a much better lawyer than he ever thought about being. That's for sure. Okay? I don't know what you mean, Todd. Try to read. I can't read all these things, folks. You know, so let me keep on track. but I want to tell you some positive things, okay? I want to tell you the good things that will be coming from Ori Spado. Like, what did Donald Trump's legal team just do in Georgia? Inside the Epstein cover-up, what you haven't been told. Folks, you know, I go back with John Connolly, who was one of the first investigative reporters, all right, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein. It was me, to a relative of mine in Florida, that we found 2 of his victims. Biden's new legal problem. Are you interested in that? What it means for November. These elections coming up in November are very big, okay? Very big. Means a lot. Rico explained. I did it before, but I'm going to explain it more in depth. Beginning with when it got signed by Richard Nixon, 1971. Why Richard Nixon signed it. You know, folks, I had a lot of friends. I can't count the number of friends indicted on RICO charges. So I know what RICO was a little bit. I knew it was almost impossible to beat. But until I was indicted on RICO, I said, holy shit. Okay? And I got extradited from here to Brooklyn, New York, then DC. Now out here, I knew all the lawyers on OJ's dream team. I know the best lawyers. Personally, I could pick up the phone, call them. But I get to New York, I didn't know any lawyers. Now the courts initially appointed me a court-appointed lawyer. And she was actually good. Most of them are good in the federal court, particularly out of Brooklyn. They were really good. Okay, I gotta say that. All right? But now I had to interview lawyers. My first question when I would interview a lawyer, no, they take you down, you gotta go in the visiting room. All right, my kids were making appointments for me, find a different lawyer. My first question is, what do you know about the RICO and how do you win it? And nobody had an answer. No lawyer can give you a definitive answer. They do tell you it's very difficult. Unless you get Maureen call me and then you hit the lottery, okay? Because she doesn't know how to write an indictment. If I wrote that indictment, it would have been in simple terms. The jury would have understood, and there would have been specific charges that he would have been charged with. But they didn't do that. She didn't do that. So folks, please subscribe. Hit that like button. And let's keep those thanks going. I want to thank all those who have given me thanks so far. Hit that thanks button down there. And for those of you who don't know how to do it, you want to do Venmo or Cash App, all right? It's right there in my profile. Go to the link. It'll take you there. You can send me money through Cash App and Venmo as well. All right? Will you believe I had a court case in downtown Los Angeles, the state court, at the same time OJ was going to trial. Boy, I'm going to tell you something, all right? That was packed, that courthouse. And when I pulled up, you had these news organizations from all over the world. All over the world. Diddy, you didn't get that. They weren't there, Diddy, for you. You had some people. You had the people that you paid there. You had the people that you bought t-shirts for. Free Diddy. It didn't work, Diddy. And it's not going to work October 3rd, Diddy. Yeah. Hey, look, we got some idiots here that really love Diddy, and God bless them. They should. I guarantee you, not one of these people who are writing these nasty things about me because I don't like Diddy. I never said I hate Diddy. And don't mistake that. I said dislike him. I hate woman beaters, so I guess I do hate him. Because he's a woman beater. And that's what he'll be known for the rest of his life. So all you Diddy fans, I guarantee you, none of you have ever met Diddy. You don't even know who the hell he is. Okay? And you probably don't even remember his music because nobody remembers his music. But everybody remembers Michael Jackson's music. Gilbro, you hate criminals. Okay. You got your right to hate. All right? I'm not going to dispute that. All right? We could all agree to disagree. Pamela in Detroit, how are you, honey? Okay? You know what? I should block these people, but you know what? I'm not going to block them. Okay? Maybe I might get through to one of them that might get an education or maybe go to a trade school. Okay? Obviously, their parents didn't teach them about respect because they don't know anything about what respect really is. Okay? So don't worry about these people, my friends, who leave these nasty messages. Let them do it. Okay? All right? Because they don't hurt me at all. I know exactly who they are and what kind of people they are. They don't have 2 cents to rub together. All right? And they think if they say something nice about Diddy, he'll send them money. Well, he didn't send a guy that was signed to his record company any money when he needed it, okay? The guy died broke. Diddy didn't send him any money. So wake up, guys. Okay, these people, everybody's trying to grab some of Diddy's money, all right? And Diddy in his head is losing millions every day and trying to figure out how much time he's going to have to do and will he have any money by the time he gets out of prison. He's got over 70 civil lawsuits on the books, okay? Over 70 civil lawsuits that he's got to fight. This guy got more legal problems, and plus he's paying legal fees for that Gina, okay? He's paying legal fees for KK. Look at it, I don't think we heard the last for KK. I got a feeling something's going to come out. It's going to be big because, like I said, this Jay Clayton, the new sheriff of the Southern District, he's nobody's fool, all right? You could bet they're investigating a lot of things. And you could bet they are really seriously investigating, all right, and trying to find the money trail of that $1 million that Diddy allegedly paid to have Tupac held. You could bet they're looking for that. You could bet they're in Las Vegas talking to KFD. They might give KFD a deal if he had the information. I don't know if he's got it or he don't have it. Okay? But we're going to find all this out, folks. But, it's all to come. So, folks, I want to thank you all. I try to keep it here to a half an hour for you, okay? And Diddy's got a lot of problems coming. And could he have state problems? Could some states bring some charges against him? It all depends if they fall within the statute of limitation. There's so much about Diddy out there, and he's created all himself with all this nonsense and dog and pony show that his lawyers are doing, okay? And they're creating it. They created the mess. The government didn't create it. Diddy created it. So don't think anybody just says, hey, woke up in the morning, let's go after Diddy. No. It took a lot before they went after him. All right? It wasn't just somebody woke up in the morning and said, let's indict Diddy. They didn't do that. I didn't hear whether Ghislaine Maxwell will get house arrest or not. Okay, they did move her to a prison camp in Texas. But, that's no big, to me, that's no big deal because I've seen people get, go from USPs to medium to the camps. Okay, it's just an everyday occurrence of what happens in prison. Okay. So to me, it was no big deal. I didn't make a big issue about it. Everybody wants to make an issue of everything and everything. Susan Jill, thank you for that $1.99. God bless you, Susan. Thank you. All right. Anybody else there with that thanks button today? Okay. Don't be shy. Remember, everything you give me, all right, I put a lot of time in thinking, preparing what I'm going to come here. Okay, it takes me hours to do that there. So I want you to know that, folks. And I'm not, I don't have the money that Sean Diddy had or has. Okay? So, folks, I want to thank you. I'll be back tomorrow with some more information. I'd like you folks to write me more in the comments. I got a big video coming out that you want to hear pretty soon. And I got a lot of stuff coming for you. So, he's droning. Susan, thank you. The Border Rescue. You know what? It's a shame today that these 5 soldiers, I hope they're all okay, at Fort Stewart, Georgia. All right, that some idiot got on the base and went and shot these young men. Okay, why are they doing that? There's 5 young men prepared to go fight in a war to defend our beautiful country. And this moron goes in there with a gun and starts shooting these people. What's going on in this country? Mental health. Now all of a sudden in this world, everybody's got mental health problems. When I was grow up, they didn't have them. But we had mental health institutions to put people in for mental health problems. You got blame for that? It was Ronald Reagan. I loved Reagan, but it's one bad thing he did. He closed down all our mental institutions. So now I think Trump is starting to run to open them up. I hope so, because there's a lot of people with mental problems that need help. So, folks, I'm going to leave you again today. I want you to remember what I said in the beginning about the young couple and the baby. Those folks, they don't know how happy they made me. But that's what made me happy today. Seeing that young couple with their baby and their dreams for the future of that little child that they got. And the love that the husband and wife had for each other. That's what made me happy. So remember, every day try to make somebody else's life happy, and I guarantee you it will come back to you in some way. Thank you, folks. Everybody have a great day. As usual, all my love and respect to you all. God bless. Be safe. Thank you.